What is going on, good people? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Say That Podcast. And you already know the drill. Don't say this, say that. I want to thank you for that before I introduce it. So, before we get into today's episode, I want to thank everybody tuning in my last episode with the Caveman on Causeway. That was a first one for me. You know, I never interviewed actually a diehard Celtics fan like that. I've had many Celtics conversations on this show, but never from someone who's actually like in the trenches like that. So if you haven't seen it already, it's on the YouTube, it's on Apple, it's on Spotify. Go watch or listen to that right now. And y'all know where to follow me. It's Instagram, REPETE617, and it's say_that_pod on the pod page. But today, ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 99, all right? Before I get into today's guest and I introduce him, I had to bring him on because it's episode 99. But what that also means is that episode 100 is coming soon. So I want to make a very special announcement that I'm doing a live podcast for it. Okay. May 17th, right here at AOA Studios. It's going to be my first ever live podcast. You know, I got a new logo ready. I got special announcements ready. I got, all this stuff ready. And I want to celebrate the 5 years to Say That, almost 5 years, with this episode. I understand, I've been here 5 years. You only done 100 episodes. Look, takes time, all right? Rome wasn't built in a day.
Fuck it.
So, right, exactly. You know what I mean? And trust, y'all know I was on hiatus anyway, so it is what it is. But yes, May 17th, episode 100, live from AOA Studios. Be there. Now, with that being said, the reason I molded this episode 99 is because before I embark on a solo pod, I had to bring in literally the hottest podcast host in the city right now. This one's been coming for a while. If you heard the voice already, I think you know who it is. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Charlie Masheen. What's going on, baby?
Good, how you, man?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
I'm good, man. Nice to see you.
Of course, nice to see you too. You know what I'm saying? It's been a while, yeah.
It has been a while,
yeah.
Man. It's been a little bit, man.
Definitely,
you was on your hiatus and shit, so
Yeah, legit. Yeah, literally. That's why it was the first time I actually met you was on the testing lab while I was on the hiatus.
Yeah.
Which was crazy.
Yeah.
So that was nuts. All right, but bro, thank you for coming here. I told everybody like episode 99 had to be Charlie Masheen because we've been talking about this for a while.
What's the significance of 99 though?
Because it's right before 100. It's 99. Okay. It's like, you know what I'm saying? That's
right.
Like NBA players can't even go past 99. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I like that. You know what I mean? It's that special like last one before 100. You know what I mean? Okay. So this era of 1 to 99, it's like the last stop Charlie Masheen. Right, you know what I mean? Say that history.
I'm humbled, bro. I appreciate it.
Of course, you know what I'm saying?
Appreciate the words too, man.
Of course, absolutely. And just because you started in 2020. Obviously, I started, tail end of 2020. So when I'm getting into podcasts, you were the first, other podcast I was like, oh, this guy's actually doing dope shit. He's got, a laundry list of rappers he's already interviewed. So that's how I came to know you. Right. I don't know if I ever told you that story, but yeah, that's how I basically found out. It was there's other podcasts in the city, and CWTFB was the first one. Right. Then it was It's Lit, and then, Bad for the Community came later, but I just like how that community kind of went around on social media.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So with that being said, you're one of the catalysts for the change in the Boston podcast community ever since episode 1. You know what I mean? It's been CWTFB. You got to remember those letters. If you get them confused, I don't know. It's pretty easy. You know what I mean?
I mean, how many times motherfuckers fuck it up?
Oh, yeah.
CWFTB.
Right, exactly. TV, ZXYAZ.
CWTV. And I'm like, it's not CWTV, bro. Yeah. But whatever. I let motherfuckers say what they want. But, but once you see the logo, you recognize it. So, that's why it's call it what you want. We know
I know you in sales, but if you went into marketing, it's I think you just have all this shit figured out. You're probably even richer than you are right now.
Hey.
You know what I mean? So I think if someone's got to hire you to be a marketer, because I think having a degree in it and seeing what it takes in the industry, I can identify who's good and who's not now. Right. And I'm I thought to myself literally yesterday, I was like, oh, Charlie's been doing this the whole time, and Mike's been doing this the whole time. I'm so this shit just comes easy.
I always thought about it as attack it from a minimalistic approach. Right? That's why the logo doesn't have my face on it. It doesn't have. It's just literally the initials, CWTFB, and then radio. Yeah. Right. And let's use a color that pops. My favorite color, red. It's the fucking color of danger, color of passion, color of caution. It's you know what I mean? So for me, I was like, yo, boom, that was easy. So I think sometimes you just got dumb shit down, and then it goes a long way. Right. You know what I mean?
And CWTFB wasn't your first run with a podcast either.
Nah, I had Paula.
That's what it was. Because I remember looking that up because it was you. Was Noble one of the hosts?
Nah, Noble was one of the first guests.
Yes. And then was not Avenue. Avenue was a guest.
It was Avenue, Noble, and Deion Chase. They were the first 3 guests.
Okay.
And my man Manop, him and I, we were the hosts. Yeah. And because Manop had he had another podcast prior to that. I think it was called Special Delivery, and his was all audio, right? And that's when you can get away with doing all audio at that time. And Paula was all audio too. Like we used to do like small little clips and shit like that, but that was it. But it was all audio, and you know, we just weren't consistent with it. So then I was like, yo, fuck it, let me do my own thing. Started CWTFB, and then I started all audio with that too at the beginning. And then I was like, okay, this is shifting. People want to see you. People want to feel like they know you. So, and then that's when the whole video aspect came in.
Well, and that's why I think we both kind of got into the podcasting industry like right at the right time. You know what I mean? Because Say That didn't have video until episode 16.
Yeah.
I think if I remember correctly.
Ours was episode 27.
Right. Because it's like, you know, I just don't have the money for a camera right now. You know what I mean? So I'm working with what I got. You know, I wasn't even on DSPs until episode 8. We were all on SoundCloud, if everybody remembers that. So it's definitely a learning curve. You know what I mean? But I think now, if you're starting one, was it April 2025?
Yeah.
You gotta be on Apple and Spotify. You gotta be on YouTube.
Absolutely.
You can't get away with the shit that like we kind of got away with. You know, starting it.
There's so many different ways to get on too, man. So like I was always on DSPs from the beginning, right? So, and that was just because you hear about Anchor, you hear about Buzzsprout, you hear about all these different platforms that could get you on DSPs. There's really no reason. Like Anchor's free.
Yeah, literally. I mean, it's Spotify for podcasts now because they bought it, but yeah.
But what the fuck? This shit's free, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's really no excuse.
And that was my first mistake. I used Buzzsprout, and Buzzsprout was not free.
Yeah.
That was my first mistake.
I use Buzzsprout now, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. But either way, there's a free way to do this shit.
Right.
So if you understand that you're getting into a lane where there's some type of overhead and there's a free alternative, then just do that.
Just do it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Why spend more bread?
Where? For what?
Right, for what? Right.
Yeah.
So what are kind of the lessons you took with that first podcast that you applied to CWTFB and you still apply kind of to this day?
Consistency, bro. Consistency is the number one thing, and I think that's the biggest thing. Consistency with content, like as far as how often you're dropping. Drop when you say you're going to drop. If you're doing it once a week, make sure you drop once a week. You know, we usually drop on Mondays, audio only, and then videos on Wednesday.
I like that. That's a good approach to it.
But sometimes we do YouTube exclusives, like the one that dropped tonight. You know, that's
Diamond the Body.
YouTube,
Shout out to that, right?
Shout out Diamond the Body. That's YouTube exclusive. Like the last 3 weeks we did was actually YouTube exclusive. But either way, it doesn't matter if you're gonna drop on both platforms. If you say you're gonna drop, right? Just whatever, right? Consistency with the brand, like as far as at the beginning, I had a different logo, right? I had a microphone I had headphones around a microphone, and then I realized I snagged that logo offline, and I was like, I don't want to get sued if this shit gets bigger. I dropped it, made it cleaner, and then I realized without that, it actually looked better with just the letters, and I was like, all right, this is fire. Boom, went on that, like, and then consistently do that, and also consistent with the aesthetics, right? Make sure that even if, you know, we went from one studio to the next, but the aesthetics looks very similar, right? Like we made sure that this is the brand, this is what people are used to.
Right.
Let's keep it going that way, man. And
I mean, you started off in a hotel room, you know what I mean?
Hotel room, bro.
Like, and then you went to freaking you were in before Cannes. Where were you before Cannes Auto Parts?
Hyde Park.
Hyde Park.
In like my man's like lobby or some shit like that. Like he had some shit. You know what I mean? Like, so either way, bro, you know, the detail shop was fire.
I like that.
Because that was home. You know what I mean? It was a family business.
Right.
You know, that was home. Like, it looked hip hop. You had the speakers
really
with
did.
the freaking radio.
Like that was like your own room. You know what I mean? Right in the back. It's like where you recording, right in the back. You know, it looked like a hang spot. You know what I mean?
It looked real good. That was actually the waiting room at the detail shop.
Oh shit!
Right?
Really?
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
So you got the fucking speakers and all that shit, the headrests and all of that. Like, yeah. So that was cool. I like that. But then, you know, then we partnered up with another studio and, You know, whatever. And then now
whatever is right. You know what I'm saying?
Now we're home at the Sound Lab, man. Shout out to the Sound Lab,
of course,
man.
shout
Everything
out to
they
them,
do,
you know what I'm saying? 211, Nicole, Devo,
Absolutely.
all them. But you know, if I had an easier way to get to Brockton, I would get down there. But you know,
Absolutely.
I got no whip right now, so it is what it is. But you know, that's why AOA Studios works. But that's what I'm kind of thankful for being a creative in Boston, is that we have these spaces. You know what I mean? So that's what I always say. When I was on the hiatus, like, I didn't have a studio like that. Like, there was an idea to record out of Laced and Copley, and, you know, that really was ambitious, but it just didn't work out with everyone's schedules. But it's like, all right, look, now they ain't even Copley anymore. So then we've been scrambling for another studio. So I did approach, you know, the Sound Lab, but it's just with my schedule and how I get to places.
Navigating
it just didn't work. You know what I mean? No disrespect to them. It's a great place. If you can pod there, other than yourself, go do that.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they're going to get you right.
There's a lot of people that pod there, actually.
Right, exactly. But, you know, that AOA Studios pops up, and, you know, here we are right now. So I'm forever thankful for it. Would I recommend Staples in City Hall where we started? It's a good starting point. That's all I'll say. You know what I mean? Grow out of it, though.
I heard a few people started out of there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some people fell off, some people kept it going, but whatever.
But
I'm glad you're still here, man, because honestly, bro, like, when y'all took that break, I was like, damn. Like, you know what I mean? Because I hate to see platforms come and go like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you know, you speak for a whole different demographic than I do. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, we still need that voice, right? So that when you and Mike just stopped doing, you know what I mean, I was like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Like, and I didn't see that for y'all. I saw the trajectory. I thought y'all was going to actually gain some steam and go do some shit, right? And then life happens. Like, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But I'm glad that you didn't let that shit deter you from, you know what I mean? Like, the objective at hand. You came back and you did your thing. With or without Mike, with or without anybody, you still here, man. So I commend you for that,
I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I'll cheers to that right there,
dogs.
bro. You know what I mean? On dogs, exactly. Because I feel like that's what people, you know, and you're a good observer of that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because, like, you know, especially with the demographic thing. Like, I'm from the North End, you know what I mean? We don't have, I mean, I just interviewed one of my boys who does, you know, like soulful rap, R&B from there, but other than that, we don't have any rappers. You know, we don't have any podcasters. You know, what we're known for, Italian food and friggin' a cigar. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Stanza.
Exactly.
That's my spot.
Oh, of course, 100%. And the deep Boston accent. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's what we're known for. So and what's I will say about this, and I don't think a lot of people from the North End or just that area, like before you go to like past Prudential, so you go to Dorchester, Roxbury, Mattapan, that's where the art is. The art doesn't really get to there a lot. You know what I'm saying? My part of the thing. Because the first rapper I knew, you know, God rest his soul, was Hefe Replay. I'm going to say it right now. And I've said that a bunch of times. Like, not even before Stiz, like, not even before Millie's. Like, it literally was Hefe Replay because my boy was a SoundCloud fiend. He listened to all this shit on SoundCloud. And then Sips D came up and he's like, yo, like, listen to this shit.
Sips D was that deal.
I was like, wow. And hearing the stories now of like what it meant to that area of Boston, it's like, damn, like it all makes sense how when people say, yeah, this guy was a legend, and they say all these guys are legends in the areas, it's like,
you know, shout out to Replay for real. You know, God rest the dead, man. Legit. But what was dope about Replay was I know his pops, right? I used to work with his pops like at this point like 10 plus years ago. And he kept talking about his son that raps. And because I had mentioned to his father at the time that I used to rap or whatever. And he was like, yeah, like, you know, my son, they call him Hefe Replay because he's a replay of me. And he dead ass looked just like his father. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And so he knew that there was a bridge connecting the two of us. But the ill thing was he didn't want to come on the pod without building a relationship with me. So, like, Replay would just call me randomly, bro. Like, he would just, like, you know what I mean? He's trying to learn who the fuck is Charlie Masheen. Right? And I thought that was dope. And that's I want to, which camera am I looking at?
That one right there. Center one
the
right
one in the middle?
Yeah.
You artists, build relationships. You motherfuckers, y'all do this shit. Yo, why haven't you had me on the... Who the fuck are you, bro? We don't know you who you are, bro. And like, I don't give a fuck how good you think your music is, bro. Did it come across my attention yet? It might not have. So, and if it didn't, then whose fault is that? Nigga, that's on you. Don't fucking jump in my DMs with that. Like, you know what I'm going to do?
So garbage.
You know what I'm going to do? The next time motherfuckers say that shit to me, I'm going to just send the CWTFB Radio Cash App and tell you the price.
I'm kind of getting that point too. You know, I know I don't have as many subscribers as you do, but like at this point, like what else do you want us to do?
On dogs, because it's like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I done put blood, sweat, and tears, time away from my children, time away from my wife, money, tens of thousands of dollars.
Driving all the way to Brockton and back.
Bro, what the fuck?
That's gas money right there.
You know what I mean? Bro, you know what I'm saying? Right. I don't got time to hear why the fuck I ain't. Like, suck my dick. Take a fucking page out of Replay's book, man, and build relationships with people, man. Sad to say that, you know, it never came into fruition because, you know, whatever. Right. But I love that approach, and I'll always remember that shit, man. So shout out to Replay, man.
Well, that's something, you know, I got a story about that too, because we were at it was an event called the Green Room in July of 2017, the Middle East Downstairs. And the lineup was, it was a white rapper. I think he was from Boston. He might have been from New Hampshire because they used to run a lot of New Hampshire rappers there. Right. But it went after him. It went Big Lino, it went Vintage Lee, it went Plaid Finesse, and then Hefe Replay was the headliner.
That's Replay's whole little crew, right? Like,
you know what I'm saying? So that's how I, you know, and I've obviously, you know, had talked to those people before, but we went there, me and the group of my friends, for Replay. You know, everybody else was like, all right, you know, let's see what they are. And then, you know, come to learn about Plaid, Lino, and Vintage Lee. They're one of some of the biggest names out right now in the city. But what kind of bugged me was towards the end, because this is getting late. I think Replay went on at like 11:30. People starting to leave. I'm like, we're not leaving. You know, we came here for Replay. Why the fuck would we leave? Right. You know what I mean? So he literally got a whole little circle in him, like just went off. You know what I'm saying? I think he wanted to get on my shoulders. You know what I mean? And start rapping and shit. I was like, bro, I'm drunk. I'm gonna drop you. I ain't trying to do that. I'm trying to hurt you. Then after the show, we're outside the Middle East. You know, we're smoking a joint, and Replay walks up with his girl, like. And this had never happened to me with like any rapper. He just comes up, you know, daps us, gives us a big hug, like, thank you for coming, stays and chats for 15 minutes, and it's like, then he's out. And then that's kind of how me and his relationship got built. Because out of the blue one day, I get a DM. He was like, yo, what's your number? I'm like, oh, you know, I give him his number. We chat about shit. Then he's like, then a few weeks go by. Then he invites me. I'm in the North End. He's like, yo, what are you doing? Come link with me at Copley right now. I'm like, word, I'm there. So hearing how he does that with other people, you know, he's like, build that relationship. It's like, wow, like, it's really that easy. Yeah. You know, it really is. And that's the other thing, too. If I want to talk to somebody, I'll let you know. But with my drop schedule, like, I'm trying to talk to the Charlie Masheens. I'm trying to talk to the freaking Exit Fames and, you know, all these people. I'm not trying to just waste a week. Right. You know what I'm saying? I drop every other week. Even like yourself, who drops 4 times a week. You still ain't trying to waste a week. Right. I'm sure there has been people who are like, damn, like, why the hell I just let this dude on right now? Right. You know what I mean? So it's like, a couple. It's just, I just feel like the professionalism is lost. Right. You know what I mean? And if you, it's like, all right, pretend we're like music executives. Yeah. Are you just going to be...
Take this shit for real, man. Right. Like, treat this shit like a job. If you treat this shit like a job, it's going to pay you like a job. Right. If you don't treat it like a job, then it's just going to pay you like a hobby, right? Right. And that's really what it is. I was just having this conversation with my man Streets, right, in the car, man, on the way here. Boston rappers, a lot of motherfuckers don't network, man. At all. You know, like, you bring an artist out here, because we was considering bringing a certain artist out here to, you know, do the pod and also have an event and things of that nature. And we're like, you know, with that certain artist's like buzz at this point, the guy's not big enough where we feel like we would grab people out here. But my thing is, this guy got industry connects. Mm-hmm. Why the fuck wouldn't you want to network with him? Right. You know what I'm saying? And things of that nature. So it's shit like that, you know? So... but yeah, you know, like, it is what it is. Like, artists need to take themselves out of their shell of comfort and actually do more. Like, talk to people, man. Go out there, shake hands, kiss some babies.
That's it. Because I'm going to tell you one thing. I was at an award show a couple months ago. I had never met these artists before, right? Yeah. Ever. I maybe saw them on Instagram in passing. I was like, you know what? I'm not really a fan of these dudes' music. I think they kind of suck. So I'm a pass on that. Right. They come up to me and they're like, oh, we're dropping an album. Can I get an episode? I'm like, I was like, look, like, yeah.
Yes, motherfuckers are deaf all the
exactly.
time.
You know what I'm saying? Just yes to death and be like, I forgot, whatever the fuck. But like, I don't know, because maybe that's why I'm thankful I ain't a rapper, or an artist. Because it's just
rough out here.
It's a lot harder than being a podcaster.
It is.
It really is. Podcasting, you show up, you be consistent. Make sure you talk about the right shit. Make sure you drop it on a consistent time. Rapper and artist, a whole nother ball game.
And podcasting is like, when you get into the niche shit, like, music, right? It does get tougher, right? Because you got a specific subject that you're talking about all the time. And then if you're talking about music, then it's like, who are your subjects, right? Who are your guests, if you're going to have guests, right? Because some people don't have guests, right? They might just sit in front of a camera by themselves and review music and shit like that. But realistically, when you get into the niche things, that's when it gets tough. And if you don't have a clear vision on where you want to actually go with the shit, you're going to be fucked. And if you don't have the right, like, people to talk to, you're going to be fucked. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, like, it's not, you know what I mean? Motherfuckers, people have to remember and they have to understand that we don't do this shit for fun, bro. Like, we do this shit for one, because we love it. Right. And two, because we have a fucking plan on what we're about to do with it, man. Right. So, don't play with motherfuckers.
No, absolutely not. Don't be doing that shit. One thing that, took me by surprise, and before I say this, like, you've been through co-host before. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's been documented, like, who's been on. Some people say, this guy's good, and I don't know why the fuck you had this person on and stuff like that. Right. One thing that did take me by surprise was there is no more cash on CWTFB. Yeah. If you want to explain the reasoning for that, because, being somebody who is a consistent listener of both of y'all, ever since, like, really, I think I came in, like, Cash was there for, like, the first 3 episodes. It was episode 3 he was there, so that really took me by shock and, like, a lot of people by shock.
There was a 1-2 tandem. Cash is my brother, man. I've always loved him, but obviously, like, it's no love lost. But he wants to focus on being a family man and a father, bro. Like, if you can't, you can't make somebody want to do something that they don't want to do.
Right. I learned that with my old co-host. That's why I'm doing this solo. Like, you know what I mean?
That's really, and at the end of the day, man, like, one thing I learned from 2 Times, shout out,
Jeff 2 Times,
Big Unk, you know what I'm saying, 2 Times. Everything ain't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because even from the beginning, when I wanted Cash to do the portal with me, he was real reluctant. And he wasn't, like, gung-ho about this shit. We did one episode 27. That was the first one we did with a visual. And he was kind of like a guest at the time. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until literally later that year, that first year we had 52 weeks in a year. We did 52 episodes, right? And he didn't join on until the recap episode. So he went from literally the half-point year, that one episode, and then the last episode of the fucking year, right? And then that's when he became a consistent person. So clearly he took himself out of his shell to do it. He don't really care to be in the limelight. Like, had he still been on the show and you invited us both on tonight, I probably would have showed up solo. Like that, he's that type of nigga. So,
well, that's what I did notice too. Like, just you have been on other podcasts before, and it is just yourself. You know what I mean?
So, like, it is what it is.
No, shout out to Cash, man. You know what I mean? Because that just took me by shock. You know what I mean? I would never, like, expect that. Because, when you think of CWTFB, you think of that 1-2 duel. Obviously you have Bells on back now. It's great to see her back on as well. For sure. Because, shout
out my sis.
That whole era where she wasn't the female co-host, it was a little like...
She left us to die.
Right. I kind of like to say, like, to myself, I was kind of thinking, like, when you didn't have her and you had, who you had on, I was like...
Yeah, Bells left us to fucking die.
I kind of
Bells was like, now suffer, nigga. You know what I mean?
Like, I carried y'all. Now fuck y'all.
Yeah. I'm about to be an actor.
I put this shit on my back. Niggas, I got this back, man.
And we went to, look, man. Shout out to all my ex-co-hosts. You know what I mean?
It is
shout out to everybody. I love everybody. You know what I mean? But whatever.
So this actually brings up a good point because, as my observations of you throughout this 5 years have been, like, people have come at the crown. People have come at the head. Heavy is the head that wears the podcasting crown, man. Yeah. You found yourself in some beefs over these last couple of 5 years, or disagreements.
The only one that was a beef was...
But why would you think that, people see your status in this podcast realm and they kind of just like, all right, I'm going to come at this dude right now. Like
but that's with anything, bro. And it's also because of me. Like, I speak with a real arrogant, competitive tone, right? And I know that about me, but I've always been that way. So with anything that I do, even if I know I'm not the best at it, I'm still going to talk like I am, right? But in this shit, I got this. You know what I mean? I ain't fuck out of here, right? Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that. Like, I know what I bring to the table. I know,
it's the people you've talked to, what you've seen,
exactly.
What you've done just doing this shit.
Exactly. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, motherfuckers, if they want to be the best, they feel like they got to beat the best. And, I take it as a compliment now, at least. You know what I mean? But don't come for me publicly and think I'm not going to say something, man. Like,
that's great.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not that guy. Because the only time I don't say something is when it gets to the point that when I see this motherfucker, I'm going to put hands on him. Right. That's when I no longer say anything. Right. Because there's really nothing to talk about anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I'm coming at you, understand it's still friendly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But if I stop responding, that's when
your
you should feel...
sign, yeah. That's the red caution in CWTFB. That's,
right.
Proceed with caution right there.
Right.
Because I remember, first of all, the signature shit was fucking crazy. I was like, I laughed at that personally.
What
I was like,
shit?
when they started that fucking
you talking about sweet and sour bitch?
Yeah.
Adam's bitch ass. Yeah.
No, before that, it was the petitioners cancel CWTFB.
But who was that? I'm pretty sure.
I want to know who that was too.
So we had a sponsor at the time, Wicked Clean Laundry. Shout out Wicked Clean, man. My man Zingin' and all that, right? I'm pretty sure that was Adam and his Kung Pao bitch cousin. I forget his name. Whatever. Right? Fuck that guy. You know why that bitch ass nigga Quan was mad?
Well, because of the shit you said at the testing lab.
Right. Because he said somebody said something about the song was too long.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm pretty sure it's the first time anybody said anything about you was too long.
Right.
Right? The nigga's Asian. It's a joke.
Right.
It's funny, nigga. Yeah. Laugh, bitch. You ain't got no sense of humor, so you felt ridiculed, you felt humiliated. Nigga, you been getting Asian jokes your whole life, I promise you. And then you look at their platform, you look at Adam's platform, and you look at all the racial jokes that he makes all the time. But it's not okay when a black guy who might seem intimidating says it. Oh, now I'm a bully. They hit up my fucking sponsor. And the sponsorship agreement that I had with that sponsor at the time was literally for like 3 episodes. Right. But because they so real over there, they was like, yo, fuck that. We're going to give you another 3 episodes. Wow, we're going to sponsor you for another 3. So, you know what I mean? Right. So it's like, come on, man. Just speak off the strength. Like, fuck you guys. What the fuck you thought you was stopping, dog?
Oh, right.
Who the fuck are these people? Who are these niggas? Tommy Davidson. Who are you? Like, who are you niggas? Like, oh, matter of fact, now that you got me started.
Yeah.
Adam. I defended his ass. I got into it with you.
You texted me.
Yeah, I was
you texted me and you kind of got into me a little bit, right?
I was like, yo, don't come for Adam.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's a me thing, bro. Like my loyalty, bro, like I basically gave Adam the stamp, bro. Right. A lot of these people who went on his show would have never been on his show if it wasn't for me, bro. And I put that on dead dogs. Like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, bro. But honestly, you know how many people called me? It was like,
I didn't expect to see Kato on any other show than yours. I'm gonna say that right now.
You know how many people called me and said, "What's up with this kid?
Right?
Is he cool?" And I said, "Yeah, he cool. Whatever." So I gave him the green light. So motherfuckers was like, "All right, cool. I'm gonna go on his platform too." But you don't see that. You don't see how I'm hitting up Pete and saying like, "Yo, chill out."
Right.
You don't see how
I'm behind the scenes.
I'm literally picking up problems with other people who's trying to fuck with him. Like, nah, don't fuck with Adam. Leave the kid alone, man. Right. He's a good kid.
Right.
You don't see that. So when I ask you for a piece of information that you have, you bitch ass nigga, that's when you're supposed to open your fucking mouth as a friend and give me the information that I need. But if you can no longer do that, I see where your loyalty lies. Right. And it's not with me.
Right.
So now, fuck you, bro. Fuck you.
You bit the hand that fed you.
Yeah, fuck that corny ass, coon ass nigga he had on his show too. That nigga, man.
You know, I mean, because I'm gonna be honest, my relationship with Adam has somehow melded since, you know, because you saw it. I was ready to beat up the fucking kid.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
was like legit, like, so I've since, like, you know, it's been civil. You know what I mean? Right. I don't need that on my reputation or whatever the fuck. But like, it's just how people approach you with the beef. Like, I feel like they don't understand that, like, you are a talker. Like, you got a good speaking voice. You know, you're going to use that voice. Your voice is your most strongest weapon.
Right.
So if you're going to come at somebody, like, you got to come correct. You can't come at the shit you're doing. Because I'm going to be honest, Adam called the cops on me.
Adam called the cops on me.
And you know where they showed up? They didn't show up to my house in Revere. They showed up to my grandmother's house in the North End.
Get the fuck out.
And I remember my parents were away, and they called me, and because, you know, my grandmother's fucking...
But why you call the cops? What'd you say to that little nigga?
Well, because I was like, I'm going to give you a haircut. Like, I got like, because he had that long ass hair, like, I'm going to fuck you up. Like, you know what I mean? I'm going to give you a haircut.
You had
like,
him scared shit.
Right, yeah. But just to hear you that, you know, he's calling, like, you know, your sponsorship deal, I'm like, wow, that made me think, like, yeah. So I get a call from my mom. I'm like, do you know an Adam? And I knew who they were talking about. I'm like, no.
Right.
Like, you know, I'm playing stupid. And he's like, yeah, the cops just showed up, like, saying, like, you threatened some kid named Adam at, like, and they showed up to my grandma's house. I'm like, and at this point, I'm pissed.
Right.
Like, you know, I'm pissed. So I'm like, I play it cool, right? I throw my phone down. I'm like, this motherfucker, like, really went there like that. Like, wow.
Nigga,
I was like, now that he did that, I'm like, all right, I will step off the shit because I don't want them showing up my grandmother's house no more.
Right.
I don't want to go to court for restraining orders and shit like that. Like, I don't need that on, like, my, you know, people know me in the scene. They're like, oh, this kid's got a restraining order on this kid. So
Right.
It's like, all right, I'm going to just dead this. This is now the sit has been gone too far, and now people know what happened.
Right.
So I'm going to dead it. This, you know, obviously it happened, you know, 3 years ago.
And he's also gonna call the cops. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? He's that type of bitch.
Like we're grown.
Yeah,
Let's not call the cops. We're grown ass men.
Like,
come on.
You know, but my thing is, like, don't get into a lane and try to get abrasive with motherfuckers and then get scared when shit gets real.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we ain't gonna shoot you. We ain't gonna stab you. We just gonna whoop your ass.
Right.
Like I'm a father of two. I'm a whole husband, bro. Like, I'm not going to jail for nobody.
No, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But I might slap the shit out of somebody, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because if you act like a bitch, sometimes you gotta get slapped like a bitch. You know what I mean? And my thing is, like,
I know plenty of internet personalities that are like that, you know, and they famous and shit. But like, if I saw you in person, I'd probably slap the shit out you because you're acting like a bitch.
Bro, I was at Nate Speaks event at the Sinclair, right? And I seen somebody else who had some words for me. And I saw him walking up to me, and he was on apology mode, which I respected because, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I told him, I said, yo, bro, like, you really, like, you're blessed because of whose show this is. Because if it was for somebody that I didn't really give a fuck about and I didn't really respect their team, I would have fucked you up. I would have punched you dead in your face right now. And I think that's when, you know, certain people realize, like, oh, he's serious. Like, he would really fight over this shit. Yeah, over my name, over my character, how you trying to smear my shit? Absolutely. I will fight somebody. And that same night, I seen Adam and fucking lukewarm Quan. And Quan want to act all tough. I ain't scared of you. You riding around with tents on your car because you're scared of people. I said, motherfucker, this is why you shouldn't even be in hip-hop. You don't even understand why motherfuckers get tense. It ain't because we scared, nigga. The shit look fire.
Right.
The fuck is you talking
I told
about?
you it looks like the Batmobile.
Like,
I literally just called you. I was like,
like,
I seen the tinted car go out. I was like, oh, that's him. Because I said you drive. I knew you driving an Audi. I'm like, I seen Audi with tints. I'm like, oh, that's Charlie right there.
Right.
You know
So it's like, bro, like, Adam was scared shitless because I ran up on him and I put my hand on his shoulder. I was like, where's my money? He turned around scared as shit.
Well, you know what's funny? At the show that you hosted with Key, Aunt Bell, Feed the Family, like back then while I was still on hiatus, I knew he was going to be there. I said to my dude, Jeff Porter, I'm like, I feel like he's going to be here right now.
Right.
And, you know, we're kind of in the corner at the Sinclair, right?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Sinclair. It was Sonia. Sonia, my bad. So we're in the corner on the stage, you know, we're talking amongst ourselves. We have our other boy there, and I see him walk in and go up to Motivelli and C4, and I'm like, I look at you, I look at Jeff, I'm like, yo, he's right there, like, you know, so that type of shit. But I'm like, is this the appropriate place? Right. No, it is not.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? You probably had jumped in and like, we don't need drama amongst other people or shit like that. You know what I mean?
And that's so crazy that you know, it's funny how people, you know, whatever. I don't want to spend too much time on this little bitch ass.
But I will say that I went up to him and I yelled. I was like, Adam! And he turned around. I was like, hey, what's up?
He probably pissed himself.
But anyway, so we're moving on to that. But that's why I was like, because, I've seen people beef with you, and I'm like, this is kind of crazy, like, what they're doing to this dude right here. Like, you know what I mean? The dude who wanted to box you for charity, I'm like, that's fucking hilarious.
He
like,
showed up to my 200th episode. Free niggas, though. Free niggas. Free Enunciation Blue, man. He showed up to my, he showed up.
I was there drunk as hell. I had to leave early with that shit.
And we had words, and you know what I mean? And we walked away, and he stayed for the show. You know what I mean?
Hey, kill him with kindness, kind of like that. You know what I mean?
But again, bro, like, here's the thing. When you put yourself in a space, with any creative space, people are going to have critiques and they're going to have criticism on whatever it is that you're doing. If you're not ready for that, then don't get into it. Keep yourself out the fucking public eye if you don't want people talking about you. Because I'm sure people talk about me all the time. I got rappers from the city. There's female rappers from the city who don't speak to me for whatever reason anymore. Was it something I said? I don't fucking care. Like,
stand on business.
Because
gives a fuck.
Half you motherfuckers ain't doing shit anyway. Like, who the fuck cares? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so everybody's gonna talk, man, and you're gonna speak about like, yeah, Charlie this, Charlie that. This is what Chiz did, blah blah blah. Who the fuck cares, bro? Like, if we can't talk it out like adults, don't come for me online,
right?
Because
that's what I did when we had a little spat on Twitter. I was like, damn, like I don't want to be like beefing with Charlie because like I actually like Charlie, I like his podcast, like his, I respect him and like that.
And
so
that's the
why
thing.
it's
like it was never like I wasn't trying to strong arm you or nothing. It was just more like, this is where I stand on this topic right now. And this is like chill out, like, you know what I mean, like
absolutely, bro.
If I'm vouching for somebody,
I'm gonna be a man right now and say I overstepped with that shit, you know, just for that whole Adam Lou shit. Me personally, I just did. I became too obsessive. I became too angry at nothing, like you know what I mean.
Right. But, it's like, if we can't talk about it as adults, don't come for me online, because the thing about me is I'm going to always go harder than you, especially if it's on the internet, bro. Like, I'm going to embarrass you, because what I do is I do my research. I get facts.
I told you. If you was in WWE, you'd be the top heel champion right now. I've been telling you
Pete,
that.
let me tell you something.
All right, let's get it.
There's somebody who I had an issue with in the city.
Right.
I went as far as finding out how much money they owed Eversource. These motherfuckers had a shut-off notice. You understand me? I went as far as finding out their bank account balance. You understand me? I'm a very resourceful nigga. And the bank account balance was really
Charlie,
bad.
the CIA out here.
Bro, God damn it. Like,
I'll let you roll over.
Investigative reporter for real.
Like, legit. I don't think you should be a podcast. You got to be an FBI agent at this point. Come on.
I'll never work with law enforcement.
No,
that was a joke.
Yeah, fuck the law.
But that's how far I'm willing to go to embarrass you.
Right.
Do you really want to do that with me?
No.
Chill out.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I was waiting for them to say one more thing. Look at these broke ass niggas. Look at your fucking bank account, you broke ass bitch. That account had like $87 and some change in it. Okay?
At their big grown age, that's shameful.
And these are people who's walking around
shameful,
buying designer, going on vacations, trying to act like, I'm a business owner, so I got money. No, nigga, you broke. You struggling.
No.
Fuck out of here.
You won't get found out. But moving on to something, a little bit more deeper. So, you've been very candid about the problems your son's face. You've talked about it a lot. You said that, he sees the world in a different light.
It's Autism Acceptance Month, actually.
Right, exactly. Shout out to them. I have a few friends whose brothers are the same way and stuff like that. So, it's very commendable how you're open about that, because a lot of people really keep that inside. They don't really, talk about these things.
Right.
But one thing that kind of made me think of, like, and I always ask people, who are fathers to anybody, that's like, what do you want the legacy for him to be? Like, when you hang up this podcast and shit, like, wherever that may be. And basically, what do you want your legacy to be in terms of, like, the Boston music scene as well?
Well, my legacy and what my son's legacy will be two different things, right? Like, he bears my last name. He's my only son. I'm not going to have any more children.
God bless.
So, my legacy is somebody I want to be remembered as somebody who gave a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, somebody who gave a fuck about the city enough to do something about it. We didn't have certain outlets. Like, there was some things, but I feel like, the je ne sais quoi that I bring to it is a little different, right? You know, and somebody who's willing to push the envelope. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't censor myself at all. Like, I get crazy on my pause sometimes. Yeah, I might offend people. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I'm disrespectful, but sometimes motherfuckers might take it as disrespect, right?
I think it's more commendable that you actually stand on that shit than actually you would say, like, oh, I can't really say this because this group's going to come at me. Well, I can't say that because another group's going to come at me. So I think it's more commendable that you actually stood on that stuff.
I appreciate that, but I think that really just comes from, like, just always, like, the way I was raised. Like, my mom, like, you know, she was like, yo, be who you are, say what you mean and mean what you say, right? And I don't have anybody that's going to fucking tell me what to talk about. I'm not under any network or any umbrellas or anything like that. Until that day happens, I'm going to say what the fuck I want. But being a father, you know, being a father is, like, super important to me, man. I've been a father since I was 26 years old, right? And I remember when my daughter was first born, and you know, it was two different experiences, because my daughter was, like, potty trained by the time she was, like, a year and a half, right? She was talking real early. She was super advanced for a baby. And then you have your second child who's autistic now, right? And because we had all these super advanced milestones with the first one, we're noticing, all right, there's something going on here. So he got diagnosed with autism at 18 months because we were on it that early. Like, I've been around children my whole life. My mother had a daycare. My wife's mother has a daycare now. So, like, I've been around small children my whole life. So I know what kids are supposed to be doing at certain points of their life, even if it's months old, right? And I realized there were some delays. So we had concerns. And the good thing about my wife, she's a teacher. She's on it. She's on top of it. And God bless my wife, man, because, like, she's, like, incredible when it comes to him. Like, she just called me right now, but they actually just left, like, an autism acceptance event.
God bless,
you know what I mean?
Bro,
like, you know what I mean? We did the walk, like, all of that shit. You know, what I want for him, man, is just to live a normal life, as normal as possible, bro. Like, you know, he's 4, almost 4.5, and he's not nonverbal, but he's non-speaking. You know what I mean? He says phrases. You know, and he mimics a lot of words and things of that nature. So I do have a lot of high hopes that he will speak, for sure. But he has delays, man. And what I've noticed is with autistic kids, man, my wife posted something earlier. It's like, we got to teach people how to deal with people who are autistic, not the other way around.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? Because they live in our world, right? We're the high-functioning humans, right? Yeah. And they might be high functioning here, but sometimes that barrier between the cerebral to the physical doesn't compute. That, like, he's the kid's super huge. If you see the little nigga, he look like he's 7, he's 4. Like, he's big as
That's
shit.
young Chiz right there.
Bro,
you know
when I took him when he was 2 years old, I took him to a 5-year-old's birthday party. He was the same height as the birthday boy.
That's
You understand what I'm saying? Like, the kid is huge, bro.
Yeah.
Right? So he's very physically able. He's very he pays attention to a lot of shit, like, as far as, like, routine and patterns, and the kid knows how to work. Like, he knows how to get on YouTube and watch whatever he wants. Like, he'll take my PlayStation remote, turn this shit on, and throw on Miss Rachel. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's, I don't know how to
5 years old.
Bro,
4
he's
years
4.
old.
4 years.
Yeah, right.
And he was doing that for, like, a whole year and a half at this point. Wow. He knows how to do that shit. So I didn't teach him how to do this shit. Like, bro, like, he'll literally go to Netflix, bang. I mean, put on what he wants to watch. Like, I'm like, God damn. And he'll find his profile, too. I don't even know how he knows it's his profile. I'm like, can the motherfucker read? Like, you know what I mean? So there's something going on here, bro. He knows numbers like crazy. Yeah. So there's something going on here. So all I want is, like, as far as him and his life, man, is to be as happy as possible and live a normal, as close to a normal life as he possibly can. Because there's a lot of people who are autistic who are highly functioning, man.
Right, exactly.
And I think with the right support and the right, you know, parents around you and the community, he'll be all right, man. I'm not worried about the little.
Because, like, even today, before, you know, I came here at my job, at my, you know, my mother's job, I noticed this kid was, like, you know, smelling the keychains and shit like that. And I'm like, all right, is this guy a bad parent and shit like that? But it's like, no, like, he had the headphones on. Like, he clearly was, like, observing. So I'm like, all right, let me, I ain't gonna get on this guy's ass. Like I'm actually, I went up to him like, how you doing today, sir? Anything I can help you with? This, that, and that thing. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I was kind of trying to make convo with the kid. I was like, "Sup, little man? Like, you want something like that?" Something
that's dope. And as you should, because you never want these kids to feel like they fucking X'd out. No, you know what I mean.
And that's my concern with kids like that when they get to a system where, mom and dad really ain't around, and kind of the only parental figure is like a teacher, right? Because a teacher can only handle so much shit. Right. Like a teacher's not always out in those halls. A teacher's not always like in these areas where this kid's very susceptible to, God forbid, bullying or physical harm.
Yeah, and shout out to teachers, man, because there's a lot of shitty teachers, but I think there's more good teachers than anything.
I think so too. Especially, I think this generation's great. Like, the men and women who want to be teachers in this generation, right? I feel like are better than like when I was going up in school and like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they have a better understanding of what they went through as those students. Right. So I think they apply it to the students they teach, or even like the babies. Because I know some women that are literally early pre-K teachers, and they're like, "Yo, these are my kids." Like,
no, for real, super hands-on.
For a lack of a better term, like, they ain't the parents' kids at this point. Like, I'm teaching them all these social skills. I'm teaching them these like physical skills and all that. I'm like, wow, you never really think about that. That like, mom and dad are always gonna be there, but if you dropping your kid off like 1-2 years old to these early education teachers, like,
you want them to be with somebody who gives a fuck, right? You know what I mean? And shout out to the educators, man. They the ones that's gonna really help us. Like, Adonis has some great teachers. I got
you blessed him with a fire name too. I want to say that right now.
I mean, the motherfucker's handsome as shit. You know what I'm saying? He's handsome as a motherfucker. You see that little nigga came on my nuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, and shout out to my wife, man. She's so great with him. She has way more patience with the children than I do. If you know anything about me, my patience is really low. Kids teach you patience, but they
also test it too.
Yeah, you don't have that shit when they born. Like, just because you got kids don't mean that you automatically just grow patience. Right. Goddamn, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. My daughter's 9 now. Like, shit's crazy. So, good luck, my nigga. When you start having kids and shit.
I don't know about that. We'll see. You know what I mean? I kind of had that beef with my mom like 2 days ago about that. So we'll see. I don't know. That's all I'm gonna say.
But what I will say about teachers, all you teachers who's out here fucking these little niggas, man.
Yo, did you see the one where in Indiana, where they had them run train with ghost masks and shit like that?
Bad, nigga. Where the fuck was these bitches at when I was in high school? I've been saying that. I had all ugly teachers. And the motherfuckers, I commented that shit on.
I had all ugly women teachers.
I was like, yo, that little nigga's moms was hating, nigga. Why she gotta violate like that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let that little nigga get some good pussy from a grown bitch. She's teaching the little nigga shit. He liked it, nigga. Yeah. Like, he wasn't saying, oh no.
Yeah, no.
He wasn't saying this is bad.
They didn't go to the cops.
He said that quickie this morning was excellent. Yeah. So imagine homeroom, right? Then you get your little badass bitch, snow bunny teacher. Bend the bitch over, nigga. Bang, nigga. You go to gym feeling like a new man. You're like, yo, don't tackle me.
You walk different.
Don't tackle me, bro. I'm just fall, my nigga. Don't tackle. I'm gonna go light on my feet right now.
Yeah, and plus, there was 3 of them, so they was all in the group probably like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my god, like scream mask and shit. They probably was having mad fun with this bitch.
That's what I'm saying.
That sounds like some real provocative extracurricular activity.
She thought about that.
You know what I mean?
Like, she had that planned out.
Bro, the bitch is a freak.
Because
she's certifiable.
People at those age, they don't know what Scream is. Scream was like early 2000.
They don't even know, yo, bro. They
don't know Freddy. They don't know fucking Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers. They don't know these horror villains. Bro, like, you know what I mean?
I'm like, yo, where the fuck was these bitches at when I was in fucking middle school and high school, man? Like, God
They was my age when they was in middle and high school. That's the fucked up thing.
I had a fucking teacher in the 6th grade where I dropped my pen and I was like, yo, can you pick that up for me? And she's like, Charles, cut it out. I was like, why wasn't she like that? Because she was all right. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, damn. Like,
because you ever see the movie That's My Boy with Adam Sandler, Andy Samberg?
Yeah.
That's what it was. He started off. That's how Andy Samberg got born, that movie.
That's what
you know
I'm
what I'm saying,
man.
Tony Berger came out, that's where, like, that's the first time in any, like, physical media or, like, movie I've ever seen that trope, like, actually they made a joke out of it and it's funny. Like, a lot of people are scared.
That was acceptable back then.
And it was only 2012. That's crazy.
Everybody's so woke now, right? I hate woke culture, right?
I
Now here's the
understand it,
thing:
bro.
we not making jokes about statutory rape.
No.
Right? We're not.
No.
But what I'm saying is, y'all motherfuckers let R. Kelly marry Aaliyah when she was 15 years old. And nobody had nothing to say about it. No. Niggas said age
and it was
ain't nothing but a
acceptable then,
number.
right?
Right. That was okay then. And that was a grown-ass man with a little girl. Right? This is a young nigga who can bust nuts. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Who knows he wants to fuck this bitch.
Right.
He was having fun. They probably, I can only imagine what the group chat with his boys looked like. That shit was legendary,
it was just three of them.
bro.
They was sending the Dwayne Wade to LeBron fucking meme and shit like that. Like, you know what I mean?
So my advice to you little niggas who's fucking your teachers, man, delete. Don't let your mom hate on you. You still on the family plan, little nigga. You don't pay no bills. Delete.
Yeah.
If you want her to eat, then delete. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Because it's like, I mean, like, that's my thing with like the wokeness in terms of that. It's like, if it's an acceptable joke at one time, it should still be like, you know what I mean? Like nothing changes in society where at least a joke, you know what I mean, cannot be laughed at.
Yeah.
Like, you know what that's personally my thing. And just because like what we just talked about is funny. Like, it's funny shit.
We made fun of disabled people.
Right. Bro, you make fun of white people all the time. You don't see me coming at you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's my pleasure.
I got raised on Family Guy and South Park. Why the fuck would I get offended at anything?
Because nobody's safe. That's the thing.
Right.
I talk shit about black people too. I talk shit about everybody. Everybody can get it. It don't fucking matter, bro.
It really don't.
Haitians, it don't matter. But white people, y'all my favorite subject. I ain't gonna hold you. But you one of my favorite sections. So
I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Right.
But you know what I mean?
Yo, you've turned that into your vernacular anyways.
Yo, bro, it's catching on.
When someone says Saxons, they think of you. Like,
bro, I seen a white dude call somebody else a fucking Saxon on Twitter a couple months ago, and I was like, yo, I want my credit, bro. And it's some nigga I didn't even know. He's not even from Boston, bro.
You gotta DM him and be like, how'd you learn that? Be honest.
I was like, yo, I did that, my nigga. Like, let me get my credit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so, but yeah.
Which was equally crazy how, and I don't mean to circle back to this beat, but it made me think of how that dude Turtle Boy came at you for like your vernacular. I'm like, bro, like, first of all, you shut the fuck up. Like, focus on the Karen Reed shit. You're doing a good job with that.
And he
like,
about to go to jail.
Something like, I hope he does.
Yeah, fuck Turtle Boy, man.
Anyways,
don't free that nigga.
Right.
I hope y'all throw away the kid.
You can free Karen Reed. You can
free Karen Reed.
Swap places.
Free Karen Reed.
Right.
Fuck Turtle Boy.
Right,
fuck him and anybody who love him.
Yeah, I got pissed with that. That was like, I'm like, because, you know, I don't see you every day, but like, I still like, all right, this dude's, you know, best podcast in the town. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, give him some respect. And then for Turtle Boy to come and be like, oh, he says shit about Saxons and white ass bitches. I'm like, bro.
But here's the thing.
When you're not on Twitter or you're not writing your vlogs, you probably calling these black women the N-word. Like,
on dead dogs.
Let's be real here.
I feel like he says nigga in the morning about at least 150
His
times.
alarm says it and he has to turn it off.
He look in the mirror like nigga, 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 nigga. That's part of his like skincare routine. You know what I'm saying? Like he probably thinks that makes him look young.
Right.
Like type shit. Fuck him. And honestly, Turtle Boy pissed me off because he mentioned where I worked.
Yes, and he DM'd them and shit too.
And it got to my job where I was in a sit down with HR.
That's crazy.
Right? And I no longer work for that company, so I'll talk about it now.
Right.
But I had to come at my boss's boss. Like, you're a father, right? Yeah. What the fuck would you do if you got a platform and there's some racial shit happen against your kid? What the fuck you gonna do?
Like, we losing those values? Like,
you know
come
what
on.
this bitch ass nigga tells me? Or what you were saying was derogatory. I don't give a fuck.
You didn't even say anything derogatory.
I called them Saxon bitches.
All right.
Bitches is part of my vocabulary.
And bitches is unisex.
Yeah.
So it's
that
like,
could be male, female,
transgender, don't
whatever.
matter.
The transgender, we don't acknowledge that. But male, female, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to say what the fuck I want to say on my platform, bitch. I've never mentioned the company. Ever. He did.
Right.
So what the fuck we sitting down here for? I walked out that fucking meeting and I said, you know, I'm taking the rest of the day off. Fuck y'all niggas. Got fuck out. Like,
that got me fucked up.
Yo, like Turtle Boy, man, like, fuck you for real. Like, wholeheartedly, man. Like, I hope
that was my
more
problem
time
with the
than
Karen Reed shit. Was he was gassing. I'm like, bro, part of me's like, I can't support this Karen Reed shit because of how attached he is to it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You know what it is? It's fucked up how they did Karen Reed.
It is. No, it is. The whole trial's fucked up.
But I ain't gonna hold you, Pete. A part of me is like, it's about time some white people get wrongfully convicted about some shit.
Okay, but that's my thing with him too. It's like, all right, if it was a black woman, right? If it was a black woman,
she would have been getting cooked.
Right.
She would have smoked.
She would would this be a national thing? And
no,
it's like,
it wouldn't.
And
she
we
got all the media
why,
coverage.
all right?
All right, so it's a white woman versus police.
Right.
That's the problem. Like
right.
that's why I got all the attention it got.
Right.
If it was a white woman versus some other white woman, they probably wouldn't give a fuck.
They put that show on Bravo.
If it was a fact,
you know what I mean?
It would have been a Netflix special about
exactly.
this shit.
That's what I'm saying. That's a whole Bravo Housewives show. Fucking Real Housewives of Canton, Massachusetts.
So a part of me is like, yo, that's fucked up. How they doing Karen? But like, I'm also like, her name is Karen though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't even like the name Karen.
Like, does she even like niggas? Like,
that's a derogatory term now. Is Karen?
Like, am I allegedly right? But but I'm like, would she even say hello to me if I held the door for the bitch? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know what her character's like, and I don't want shit on her character. I don't know her.
Right.
But it's like, she was also married to a cop in Canton. Like, the signs ain't showing nigga friendly shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's what I'm saying. Like, so do I give a fuck about Karen Reed?
Yeah.
But I just feel like she didn't do what they said that she did.
I don't think she did.
So that's
either.
why I'm saying free her.
Right. Exactly.
Right? That's why I'm saying.
Yeah. That's my point. That's a very good point because I said to a bunch of people, including my mom's obsessed with it. It's like, I really don't give a fuck. Like, you know what I mean? She's like, oh, it could happen to you. I'm like, no, it couldn't, because none of my friends are cops.
Right.
None of my friends would ever be in that position anyway. So that throws the argument whole out the window. Then I told her, it's like, fuck Turtle Boy. I don't give a shit. Like, he made fun of my dead homie's just name because he fucking tried to flee from the cops. Like,
really?
You look at Wilden T. Music. He was coming at his name. He was coming at his sister. His sister's still grieving to this day. He's been, been dead for 5 years already. You know what I mean? He was like, oh, look at his name and shit like that. Like, oh, she started a good funby, but won't tell you the reason why he died. I'm like, there is no reason, bro. He's dead. You know what I'm saying? Knock on wood, that don't happen to you. God, like, you know what I'm saying? Don't come at the dead like that. Like, that's fucked up. Just because you have some agenda that you want to push because you an asshole and you fucking, you this little fucking, you literally are a turtle. You know what I'm saying? You a bitch.
He's a little faggot.
Right, exactly. You a bitch.
And like, you look at Turtle Boy, you know that I'll whoop that nigga's ass. Like,
I'll whoop him. I don't even lift weights like that. I don't fight like that. I'll whoop him.
You see, but the problem with people like that is you can't whoop their ass because they're going to call the police. Exactly. Especially if you're black. Right. You know what I'm saying? You're going to call them
They'll have you on national news if you did that shit, so bro.
Like, yo, oh my God.
Oh my God, forget about it.
It'd be free chiz.
That's legit. I'll be at the court. I was like this. Like, he didn't do it. They're on the highways going to Gillette. They're on the side and shit like that. I remember me and my boy went to a Pats game in October. And, I started drinking early, so I'm like, I'm going to play a Pats game. I'm going to feel right. Yeah. It's all Turtle Boy shirt and thing. I'm literally like this, going down the highway. And they're trying to antagonize me like that. I'm literally like, yo, fuck y'all. Like, legit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Boy, man.
Whatever. But that is besides the point. But to get to the Saxon shit for a minute, because I've always been interested on your take about this. You know what I mean? You have said that if you were a white rapper, you do have to be exceptionally well. You know what I mean? I
agree.
And so you look at a guy like Millie's, who, out of this city, probably is the best white rapper out of this city.
Hands down. There's no fucking debate about it.
And I feel like an unnecessary debate comes up about his skin color because he's white and he's actually doing it very well. So I want to know your take on that, per se.
So here's the thing, right? So somebody had an argument with me the other day because there was some young little white chick from Rhode Island. She was on a platform out of Rhode Island, which was the Franchise Report. She did a freestyle. Well, it wasn't a freestyle. She just basically recited a song that she has out right now.
Which is cool.
It's cool. Right. Like, I ain't mad at her. Like, you know what I mean? It is what it is. Like, she did her thing. She's cute. She's pretty, man. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, I can see why people are flocking to her because she looks good. She's a cute little girl. Like, I'm not gonna call her a little girl. She's a young woman.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, right?
Young woman, right? But the shit was corny to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she wasn't a good rapper. Like, she was saying ill shit. Like the content was great, but she can't really rap. Like, you know what I'm saying? And the person who like commented on like, oh, you making this about skin color, and I was like, no, I'm not. I'm making this about skill level. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's just not there yet. She's not polished. She hasn't figured out who she is as an artist yet. I said, I think she should write, you know, and leave rap alone. Because if this is the type of shit that you're going to be giving us, this ain't going to work.
I mean, honestly, God, that ain't a bad critique.
It ain't.
You're still telling her be in the game. Just, know your lane.
She was saying some ill shit.
Right.
Just write. You know what I mean? Like, I think you should write for bitches who got the swag. She ain't had no swag. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I call those swagless monkeys. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got nothing going for you. You're cute, but you got no swag, shorty. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I feel like when you look at white rappers, right?
Because you are, not to interrupt, you are one of the few local podcasts who have had the pleasure of interviewing Millies.
Right.
Too, and, you know, that should be stamped.
Right. But also, somebody else commented on that shit saying, oh, that's like the NBA. It was created by a white man, but then the black man dominated it. And I said, well, the difference is white men never dominated rap. No. Like, it never happened.
Not until, like, Eminem, to be honest with you. Maybe Beastie
Eminem,
Boys, but, like...
Beastie fucking... But get your Pete, stop.
No, right? I'm saying maybe. But,
Beastie Boys was hot for, like, what, 3 summers?
Right. I wasn't even alive for that shit.
That's what I'm saying.
You know
like,
what I mean? So I don't know.
They was hot for 3 summers.
I was alive for Eminem, so that's why I can say, like, all right.
Eminem had longevity, bro.
Yes. Even though I think his recent shit's fucking horrible, but yes.
Yeah, I don't like his new shit neither, but he had longevity. Like,
yes.
He founded 50 Cent.
Right.
Even if he never dropped another album after that, he did his job. That's a hip-hop pioneer.
No, you're right.
If you signed 50 Cent, you did the right thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So my argument is hip-hop's never been a white-dominated space. This is all shit. It was created by black and brown people.
Which is correct. Right.
When we see white people come in and they're mediocre, they don't last. They just don't. No. And why is that? Right? Why is that? The biggest reason is because they don't come from where we come from, right?
Okay.
And
absolutely.
It's an acceptance thing, right? You even look, and it happens in a lot of genres that are not white dominated. Look at Carly Buds in dancehall. Carly Buds was fire. I loved it. Finally the herbs come around. That was my shit. You shitting me? He had multiple, like, what was the other shit? He had another, I take a nice shot to tequila.
I ain't gonna pretend like I know what you're talking about.
You don't know who Carly Buds is?
No, I don't listen to dance hall shit like that.
You a white boy for real. God damn. North End ass motherfucker. Like, all right, well, Carly Buds, white boy from Jamaica.
Okay.
He's from Jamaica.
Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know that existed. Like, you know what I mean?
It's rare. Bob Marley's father was white.
Yes.
That motherfucker, right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I had a substitute teacher before one time who was white from Jamaica. So it does happen. It's rare, but it does happen, right? So in any black controlled space, when you have somebody who's white and they're mediocre, they never last, right? And I'm just looking at statistics. Mm-hmm. Macklemore, where the fuck is he at?
Nowhere.
G-Eazy, where the fuck is he at?
I actually came across this page the other day. I forgot. I can't even believe he's got almost 40 million Instagram followers.
Great for him, but what is he doing?
Nothing much.
When's the last time you heard G-Eazy on the radio?
2015?
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah. What year is it? 2025? That's 10 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So,
and I can even attest to, like, a lot of industry folks, like, you know, Yellow Wolf. I never even got into Yellow Wolf.
I loved Yellow Wolf.
Really? I never got into him.
I thought he was fire.
Didn't last, though.
I always thought Yellow Wolf was fire. Dog from Killer Mike's duo, Run the Jewels. What's his name?
Fuck.
Exactly. We don't even remember his fucking name, bro. So this is what I mean. Like, the mediocre white rapper has no space here, and I'm not saying it like there's not mediocre white rappers I haven't enjoyed, because I have. Because I love Yellow Wolf. I'm telling you, I love Yellow Wolf. I fucking loved Yellow Wolf, bro. Yeah. Big Boy signed his ass, and I was like, yo, this motherfucker got it.
Yeah. I'll test this Logic. I mean, Logic's mixed, but his skin complexion's my skin complexion. You know what I mean?
I don't think Logic was ever really good at rap.
I thought he was good until 2017, and then that's where he fell off.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
You know what it was? He just was corny to me. Right?
And he exposed himself for that. He got two in his head. Right.
So what happens is you got somebody like Logic who didn't have the big machine that Drake had.
No, right.
The thing that, like, Drake is a white rapper, if we're going to be completely honest, right? Yeah. He was raised by a white woman, so he's a white rapper.
Isn't his father mixed, too? It's not even like...
His dad was, like, in and out of his life growing up. His dad's black from Houston.
Right.
Whatever. He's a white rapper. I'm gonna call Drake a white rapper.
Say that, yo. This is that right there. You know what I'm saying? Don't say this, say that. Come on now.
Don't say this, say that. God damn it. Right? So what happens is he gets the stamp of black people because he can make jiggy music. He makes really good sounding music, bro. Yeah. That's what Drake got. Like, we're not going to take that away from him. Absolutely His music sounds great. I could say that he's corny. I could say all of these. I could say whatever the fuck I want to say about him, but I was jamming the Drake for 10 summers.
I was
if not more.
I was too.
You know what I mean? The motherfucker got it.
He does.
Right?
He does. But when he said, I make more slaps than the Beatles, he meant it.
Right. But he's exceptionally well.
Right.
When you look at all the white rappers who rose to the cream of the crop, they were all exceptionally well. So I'm only speaking on facts, bro.
Right.
That's it. Like, you know what I mean? I'm only looking at the history, bro.
Right.
I'm Limp Bizkit. Where the fuck he went?
He's got like a beard and hair now. He looks like Castaway. Tom Hanks and Castaway right now.
Yo, bro. Like, yeah. See what I'm saying? Like, where are all the mediocre white rappers? They don't last,
They're living
bro.
off nostalgia right now.
In order for you to really pop, you gotta be exceptionally well, bro. And that's...
At least is that.
That's just from what I've observed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like, you know, that wasn't like a shot at Saxons. Like, because when I take shots at Saxons, everybody knows it. Like, it's happening. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That wasn't... It was just an observation. Like, you got to be exceptionally well for you to really pop.
Of course. And, you know, I've seen, my friends who do. I have 16 bars somewhere. I'm not going to tell you where. But there's a reason why I didn't pursue rap. I'm going to be honest with you. There's a reason for that. But, like, you know, I feel like you can't lie what you rap about. And I feel like, you know, what Millie has seen and what he's done, it's like, yeah, he really saw that. There are white people like him who are in the trenches, who are flipping dope. Like, bro, like, I've seen white people like that. You know what I mean? I obviously wasn't it. Like, you know what I'm saying? But to say there isn't is a lie.
Oh, nah, for sure. Look at OT the Real.
Right.
OT the Real is nasty.
Unbelievable.
That motherfucker's cold. That
motherfucker's hard.
He's
another
nasty,
dude that you got to interview. Yeah.
OT is fire. Like, you know what I mean? Millie's, I love you, my nigga. Like, no, you know what I mean? OT's probably my favorite white rapper right now. Like, you know, I ain't gonna hold you. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? OT got it. And he got that grunginess to him. You know what I mean? He don't, you know, Millie's is on a different level because I feel like Millie's is aiming towards more commercial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He does the melodic rap.
Right.
And honestly, the melodic shit is what got Millie's on.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
That's what made motherfuckers flock to him. But OT give you that cold shit. Mm-hmm. You like, God damn, shit, like
he's rapping.
You start looking through your phone.
I feel like I'm looking through his eyes while he's freaking rapping that shit, and I see that shit. Like, you know what I mean?
I still got my old plug phone number. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you start looking through your phone type shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Does he still got the same phone number? Right. Like, I might call him after I listen to this.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, but nah, you know? But it's an observation, bro. It's real shit. Like,
no, but I think that observation makes a lot of sense when you look at it in context. You know what I mean? And I think context is very important in this situation. So you can't really take that out of context and make it something that it's not.
Nah,
that's just my take on that. You know what I mean? But you have seen a lot of shit in this music scene. You know what I'm saying? You see, better point, you've seen it all. Right. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think there's anything else. I won't say it all,
but I've seen a lot.
I don't think there's anything that'll surprise you nowadays. Like, you know what I mean? So what's kind of been like that favorite moment of yours, just coming up and seeing, like, you know, all the dope artists come up, the producers, the videographers, the cameramen, like all that shit. Because, like, I know Boston wants to be recognized as this national scene. Yeah. And I think better a point, I think we might be there right now. To be honest with you,
I think we're almost there. I think we're almost there.
You think a few more steps will be there?
I don't think we're quite there yet. I do think we need a few more people to actually use their resources and stamp us for real. People who actually really fuck with us. Like, look, there's a lot of artists who have national attention, who don't come back and talk to local podcasts, who don't come back and talk to, or whatever. And like, for me, it's like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, if I was in your position, I would want to come back to my city and get my city lit. Give them the best interview you could. But they'd rather go on the other platforms and get them lit, and get themselves lit.
Right.
So it comes to a selfish thing, which I'm not mad at it, because you got to do what you got to do for yourself. But you also got to remember to go back and pull up the other guy who's next up, right? That's why I don't mind, talking. Like, if there was another podcast that came up right now that I started liking, like, that's what I did with Bad for the Community. I like those little niggas, man. Like, I was like, yo, these niggas got some shit. So I reached out to them and we started working together, right? Yeah, we had our little spats back and forth, but it's still love. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like that's what everybody should do. It don't matter how big you get. I don't care. Like, I don't care if I was Sway in the Morning big, bro. I'm trying to bring somebody else up with me. Because if my likeness can help you get to where you want to be, or even close to it, then I did my job, bro. That's community work. You know what I mean?
That's the definition of community work. I feel like the term community work, and to a point, I don't even like hearing that term anymore. It just gets so misconstrued to something that it really ain't.
Because motherfuckers is selfish, bro. That's really what it is. Like, motherfuckers is selfish, and motherfuckers don't know. Like, motherfuckers don't know how to not be the main character. Motherfuckers is out here suffering from main character syndrome. You know what I mean? They want to be the only motherfucker. And that's cool. And even if somebody's more lit than me, that's great. But I know what the fuck I bring to the table, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody gonna tell me nothing about me. Ain't nobody gonna tell me nothing about Charlie Masheen. Ain't nobody gonna tell me nothing about CWTFB Radio. Ain't nobody gonna tell me nothing about Cash, Bells, and whoever the fuck we had on before. Nigga, like, we that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And it's been stamped.
And I don't care
it's been solidified in history, actually.
And I don't care if your fucking statistics was better or whatever the case may be. How did your statistics get better? Let's look at it like that. Let's look at it for it. Let's break it down.
Sports science. I remember that show.
You know what I'm saying? Let's break it down. How did your statistics get better?
Podcast science.
In what lane, motherfucker?
Right.
Like, what did you do? Are you really a podcast?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And things of that nature, bro. So, like, you gotta uplift somebody else, man. And I think that's where we are right now. We gotta get back to uplifting the people the places that we came from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if Bia came back and went on a podcast run, you know how great that would be for the city?
Unbelievable. Bro.
If Jordan Lucas did a podcast run, you know how great that would be for the city?
You know what I mean? Right.
If Millie's came back and did a fucking podcast run, I know Millie's will come back on our pod, but, like, I don't want it to just be our pod.
No, right.
Like, I want him to spread that help, like he did the last time he was on, where he did that. He chose like 3 podcasts that he wanted to go on, and he did that. It might have been 2, actually. I think it was us and It's Lit the last time he was on. The first time he was on was virtual because of COVID.
Right.
But either way, like, if everybody who's getting national attention, Cousin Stiz, Michael Christmas, anybody who's getting national attention, if they all thought like that, like, let's uplift my people, we'll all get to that destination faster.
But that's why I'm thankful a dude like Terminology exists.
Because Term been in it for a while.
Right.
You know what I mean? Term been in it for a while, and he understands what it takes. Term been a full-time artist for
25 years, pretty much. Right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's good. Like, you know what I mean?
But in that breath, I feel like you don't have to be an artist for that time to understand that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like if you look at a guy like Term and realize that, if you're a creative in this space, you should be thankful he exists.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I went to his album release party, 54th album, Things I Seen in New York City. I pulled up and he showed mad love. Like, you know what I mean? These things aren't hard. If you want to connect with a Terminology, come correct. Right. You want to connect, you got to come correct. But the point I'm trying to make is, like, you see a veteran like Term, and it's like, those lessons are applicable at any age. You know, you don't have to be the career you had with term. If you had term's career and you're doing the same thing, perfect. But if you had term's career for like 5 years, apply those lessons. You know what I'm saying? Show love back to the hometown.
As you should.
Come on these podcasts. You know, you have them on yearly, and that's fucking awesome. You know what I mean? So
Term's
it's like,
my brother, man. That's big bro for real, man. Shout out to Term, man.
Legit.
Love you, bro.
He's coming actually here tomorrow night at the time of this recording. He's coming to do Turntable Teaches tomorrow night. You know what I mean? So he came on mine, and I'm super blessed. And actually, you know, I told you I was presenting, you know, all those kids. I put his episode in there because I'm like, yo, you all know Mac Miller? All right, this is his OG.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So you just got to be, if you're creative, you just got to be thankful at the end of the day that these type of people exist in your space. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. But the last topic I want to talk to you about is, and I agree with you on this, you know, the folks that drive electric cars.
Pussy.
Bitch.
Pussy!
Bitch.
Hey, my man Streets actually wants to get a Tesla.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
You know, here's the thing.
Don't do it.
Here's the thing. Motherfuckers who like electric vehicles are niggas who know nothing about cars.
Because those age horribly.
They're minimalistic people who don't want to do anything, right? And you're talking about a guy who's about to be an aviation technician, right? How the fuck that makes sense, right? Now, I don't get how that works, right? But he's not even a technical motherfucker, and he's going into a technical field. So you want a car that's made for women because women are simple, right? They want simple shit.
I seen a girl driving a Cybertruck today.
Like that's how I look at those cars, bro. They're made for bitches, bro.
Right.
On that dogs because they're simple, my nigga. Like, yeah, they do what they need to do, and there's a lot of ill features on them shits. They drive themselves, shit like that.
Got the dashboard and all that shit.
Whatever, it look cool. Whatever, the steering wheel looks all cool and shit like that.
I can put that in a gas car.
Fuck that, my nigga. I need an engine, bro. Be a man. Be a man. Drive something that has gasoline.
I ain't trying to put my technician at my
freaking
my auto body shop out of business either. So
the fuck out of
fuck out of here. Yeah, fuck that.
Fuck out of here, bro.
I can't. Like I get in Ubers and Teslas, and I'm like, you know, the fucking handle on the door bugs me. Like, why does the window come down when I'm on? Like, it technically speaking makes no sense to me.
No man should drive an AV. I don't give a fuck if it's a Tesla. I don't give a fuck if it's a Chevy. I don't
like how all these brands are doing it now.
I don't give a fuck what it is. No man should drive that shit. Get that shit for your wife. Get it for your little side piece.
And
your
plus,
shorty,
that shit
whoever.
don't even like. It doesn't even like the pre-owned ones don't even like sell well. Like it don't.
Bro, them
age,
shits is terrible.
Right, it don't age properly.
Here's the thing about EVs too, and I'm talking about from the technical side as well.
Because you know cars, so you know what I mean.
Been in the car business for a while, right? The technology that it takes to make EVs is nuclear power, right?
Right.
So then you got all these lithium ion batteries. So nuclear power is chemical waste, right? Fucking up the environment.
Yeah.
Just to make them. And then you got these lithium ion batteries that after 10 plus years, what are we going to do with that? Where are we going to dispose of these things? Can you recycle them? No, you can't, motherfucker. Right? That's extra waste. When you look at the statistics on what an EV does to the earth long term, it's actually worse than a hybrid. Hybrid is actually the way to go. And you know why hybrid is the way to go? Because you look at cars like the Porsche 918 Spider. That is a hybrid supercar. That shit got like 1,000 horsepower, bro. Get the fuck out of here. You mean I could still put a big ass engine in this shit and then attach 2 electric motors to the bitch? Damn. And then I'm out of here? Oh, let's go. Yeah. But then even when the electric motors stop working, I still have a gasoline engine, bro. So I can still drive my car. Hybrid is the way to go. Like that's the way to go. Like if you want to take care of the environment and all of that, shit, leave them shits in the car. Yeah.
Even though respectfully, it ain't up to the common man to take care of the environment, but that's
right. Part, but whatever. Like you talking about like we talking about technical and you talking about just like culturally, my nigga. Like that shit's bitch. I hate EVs, bro.
It don't hit the same. Like, you know what I'm saying? We talk about
the fucking Cybertruck looks like shit.
Horrible. I hate looking at it. Like I'm not one of those dudes, but like that it's gonna give someone a middle finger, they drive by, but I'll give them a look. Like, bro, like you're driving a Fortnite car. Like, bro, that's what it is. Like, it's in Fortnite, but like, even when it was created, like, bro, he created it because he saw a video game and he thought it looked cool or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's just garbage.
This shit don't even look cool. It don't even look nice to look at. It's so functionally like, and I don't mean to use this word, but it's retarded.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
It's fucked up.
And Look, man, I don't like EVs, bro. I don't give a fuck who you are. You my mans, you my family, whoever, nigga. Like,
Don't be driving
I'ma still
EV,
talk
right.
shit.
Don't be
When
driving no
when
EV.
you pull out your EV, I don't give a fuck if you spent $120,000 fresh off the lot. I'm gonna
That's
still
the thing.
say
You paying all this money? You could have got like a Ferrari or some
you
shit like
spent
that.
$120,000 on a vagina. Get the fuck out of here. The fuck out of here.
There's a lot of men that do that in the physical form too.
Right,
We ain't gonna
right,
get into that.
right. They probably in text messages. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
But yo, before we get out of here, Chiz, you know, I always like to give the guests the opportunity to shout out anybody they would like to. So if you would like to do that right now, please, the floor is yours.
Shout out to the Sound Lab first and foremost, man. Like, you know, keep the creatives creative. Yeah, I mean, shout out all my haters. I love y'all motherfuckers, man. Because if y'all hate me, then I love you. You know they say the opposites attract.
Right.
And shout out to my wife, man. She's awesome.
Love that. And you know, where can they find you on all social medias as well?
Personally, Charlie, that's CHARLIE.MASHEEN on Instagram, on what's it called? On Twitter, it's Chizzy_Masheen, CHIZZ_MASHEEN. On everything else, the platform, CWTFB Radio, you see it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
CWTFB
Radio on everything.
on everything.
CWTFB Radio
Come on
on
now.
Instagram, on
3 straight BMAs. Come
everywhere.
on.
You know what I mean? Come on,
You
man.
already know.
You know, 3 straight BMAs, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know what I'm saying? Before episode 100, I had to get 99 right.
Yeah.
And I think we did a great job at that. You know
My
what I'm
God.
saying?
I appreciate you having me, man.
And like I said, this was a long time coming. You know what I'm saying? We've been
Word.
talking about this since 2021.
Yeah, facts,
You know
facts,
what
facts,
I mean?
facts.
So, like,
Big fact.
we got it. And I was like, there's no other guy I want for episode 99. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, episode 100 is being filmed May 17th, live from AOA Studios. Be there. An RSVP link,
Yeah.
all that stuff's going to come later on, but be there.
Yeah.
But as always, y'all know where to follow me on Instagram is REPETE617. On Twitter, it's 617 REPETE because I got suspended a couple times. But we ain't going to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? I was wilding out. You see some shit. You know I get online. But follow the podcast on Instagram. Say _that_pod. I know it's a lot of underscores, but I've been trying to fix it, and Instagram's fucking me over. But, you know what I'm saying? We're rebranding. So the next time you see this podcast, it's going to have a whole new intro, whole new logo, whole new feel.
I like it.
So you know what I mean?
I like it.
You know, and actually I have enough logos that I can get merch out now, so be on the lookout for that. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, that was Charlie Masheen of CWTFB Radio.
My guy.
If you in the Boston scene, you don't know who the fuck that is, wake the fuck up and get out on that rock, because it's literally impossible. But if you like this episode, please leave a like and comment on this video and subscribe. Hit that YouTube subscribe button. It really helps grow this platform further, and it's been really helping me, so I appreciate all that. But, you know, and Chiz, if you could help me out with this, y'all know how we end this episode. We say one thing, we say one thing only. Don't say this.
Say that. Let's
We
get
out.
it.
Peace.